This is the Good Government Show.
First and foremost, that's why I ran for council. It was to help my neighbors. In Santa Monica right now, we estimate we're receiving about 6 homeless humans every hour. A politician to me sort of is kind of a dirty word. It sounds like there's backroom things and all that. I don't ever want to think of myself that way. I really want to think of myself as trying to respond to my neighbors and that I have a louder voice. So I'm not afraid to ask and demand things that we need. Because a lot of what my job is to inspire people to do more than they thought they could do. It's a lot more difficult to govern because you're not king.
Whenever I get to Los Angeles, I always try to stop into Santa Monica. It's a beautiful city on the beach. If you've never been there before, well, you've seen it many, many times in the movies and on TV. The Santa Monica Pier, well, it's iconic. Rocky III, Forrest Gump, and the opening credits to the classic TV show Three's Company are just a few of the things filmed there. So when I got a chance to talk to the mayor of Santa Monica, I had him sit down for a conversation. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm your host, Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share us with your friends and don't forget to review us. Let's get everyone excited about good government. All right, on this episode, I talked with Santa Monica Mayor Phil Brock. However, there is an update. We recorded this at the Conference of Mayors in the summer of 2024. Unfortunately, in his last election, Mayor Brock did not retain his seat on the city council, and that's how the mayor selected. He lost the race, but I thought the conversation was entertaining and interesting. And hey, I like talking to people from some of my favorite places. So let's go visit Santa Monica. If you've never been there, well, go. It's a city of about 90,000 people on the West Coast and surrounded by the city of Los Angeles on 3 sides and the Pacific Ocean on the other. Of course, we talked about the beaches and surfing. While tourists may see a beautiful beach, a fantastic view along the beachside strand and think, well, everything's perfect here. Well, the city has problems too, just like any other city. Former Mayor Brock had some real challenges, but he had some solutions too. We discussed 2 issues the city is dealing with: homelessness and crime. Mayor Brock helped the city expand the police department. He also worked to alleviate the homeless problem that plagues his city and other cities. No easy solutions, but he recognized the issue and he's working on it, and he'll tell you that. So coming up, my conversation with former Santa Monica Mayor Phil Brock. AI isn't the future of government, it's happening now. Let Polimorphic power your government with AI like other agencies are already doing. Polimorphic helps you power resident-first service to streamline requests while reducing staff workloads and speeding up how your citizens get answers. It's a secure system that's built for government. You'll see immediate results with more informed citizens. Want to see how AI can help you power a service-first government? Visit polymorphic.com. That's polymorphic.com. County government affects more people than any other form of government. That's why we like talking to so many representatives of county government here on the Good Government Show. They are the voice of public service. The National Association of Counties, or NACO, supports all 3,069 counties across the USA. This year, their annual conference is in Philadelphia in July. Plan to attend the conference and join them in their efforts to bring good government to America's counties. Check out the details at naco.org. That's naco.org. Welcome to the Good Government Show. We are happy to have Mayor Phil Brock of one of my favorite places in America, Santa Monica, California. Welcome to the show.
Happens to be my favorite place in America as well.
And I see you've got your Santa Monica, your Santa Monica Pier pin on.
Absolutely.
One of the great spots. How often do you visit the pier?
I was down there twice last week.
You were?
Yeah. I spend a lot of time walking our city.
Good.
So I try and we're walkable, but it's also a way for me to connect with residents, connect with problems that I see on the streets. So okay. I try and do at least a 3 to 4 mile walk every morning.
You do?
Yeah. So and different routes. So I'll go Palisades Park, the pier, down to Ocean Park. I'll find another way to go down a different boulevard or a different set of streets. So I try and cover the city. My significant other hates those walks sometimes because anytime I see something wrong, I stop.
You stop
and report it right then.
Okay. And you are somewhat of a rarity. You said you're a second generation Californian, Santa Monican.
Santa Monican.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandparents arrived in L.A. in 1926. First at Bunker Hill.
Yeah.
Then Venice. Then Santa Monica, and that's where they stayed.
And how's your movie script coming?
No movie script.
No movie script.
But look at the value of being the lungs of LA. Santa Monica being that place where the fresh air flowed in.
Yes.
It was low rise. That's going to change, but we were a low rise, comfortable city with the beach, with palm trees. When my grandparents were alive, fishing boats, all that going on.
Did you grow up surfing?
Surfing, body surfing, baseball, basketball, volleyball, anything outdoors in Santa Monica, which I'm paying for now because I have various skin cancer things.
Well, what can you do? Now, I have a question to ask all you guys who grew up surfing in Southern California, watching all this stuff on movies and TV as a kid, and then having finally surfed in Southern California. The water's freezing. How did you do it without a wetsuit?
No, the water. Well, you don't start till May usually, and then, but I don't know if it's freezing. It's
really cold.
It's just that you warm-blooded people don't have any stamina.
I don't think that's what it is. I think the water's cold.
And actually, it's warm enough for us. We just put ice cubes in when we see you coming.
I see. Well, I did talk to a guy who grew up there, and he said, "Oh no, you were cold. That's the way it was. That's what you did." Now, Santa Monica is certainly a Los Angeles County city on the beach. Beautiful beaches, beautiful location. You can't have any problems in Santa Monica, do you?
Well, I'd like to think that in my fantasy and in my dreams, we have no problems.
No, everything's great.
Girls in bikinis, guys in, no wetsuits.
No.
Guys at the beach
As the Beach Boys on a constant loop, right?
And Gidget.
Good.
The reality is, we have a lot of issues in Santa Monica. We are connected on three sides by Los Angeles.
Sounds a little bit like you're going to dump on LA.
No, I'm not. But the only side of our city that doesn't have problems is the seaside area because, look, as far as I have seen, I haven't found any homeless dolphins yet.
No. And this is something you mentioned to me. You do have a large homeless population and a homeless challenge. What are you doing about it? What can you do about it?
I'm working.
We're the good government show, so let's hear some good ways to treat this.
Well, first thing is I'm here at this conference
of mayors
for a reason. I'm part of the U.S. Mayor's Task Force on Homelessness. So 7 weeks ago, we were in Washington, D.C., Mayor Karen Bass of L.A., other mayors from throughout the nation, working on 4 different items. One, mental health.
Right.
We have to provide mental health to people in every city in the nation, because that is a crisis. It's a crisis I'm calling the loneliness crisis right now in America, where people have turned to drugs, alcohol, they're depressed, rates of suicide have risen. That's one. So we need assistance, and that has to come from the federal and state government. Secondly, Section 8 vouchers for those in need, for those who need help paying their housing bills. That's the way to stop them from ending up on the street. That includes seniors who need housing because they're on fixed incomes and their rents have risen. So we were back in Washington, D.C., asking for higher rates on Section 8 vouchers.
Okay.
Thirdly, Section 8 vouchers that come with a building. So a developer could build an all affordable housing project because the government would in effect be guaranteeing their rent. So a lender would be willing to lend them the money to build the project. Fourthly, veterans have had a really tough time. If you're a veteran of the United States and you get all your benefits, medical, dental.
And especially some of these veterans now are having 2 and 3 and 4 tours in combat.
And they learn to live on the streets as well. Now they're put back in the housing. The federal government, takes 3 months to train them, a week or 2 to let them out of the Army. So veterans housing vouchers are very important. We're trying to get them decoupled from their benefits so that a veteran in need could get his housing and his vouchers. We estimate in Santa Monica every night we have between 94 and 110 homeless ex-Marines, Army, Air Force, etc. That's tragic. To further expand on that, in Santa Monica right now, we estimate we're receiving about 6 homeless humans every hour between light rail that comes right to downtown Santa Monica now, and bus systems and the freeway. It's the end of Route 66. The weather's nice. And they feel they can stay there and be unhoused. So we guess that we have, and statistics have shown we have between 900 and 1,100 homeless people on the streets of Santa Monica each and every night. We're an 8.3 square mile city of 93,000 residents. The homeless population, we're not showing compassion. The federal government, the state government, the county, nobody is showing compassion to them by leaving them on the streets, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, we're not showing compassion to the people who are residents of our city.
Well, I was going to ask about that. I mean, how do the residents of Santa Monica, how do you manage their expectations and their demands? I mean, that's the challenge, right?
We have a highly intelligent population of residents who are very active and concerned, but they're also now feeling fear. They're scared because homeless people who are on fentanyl, on meth, or on tranq have lost control of their own emotions. So they will randomly reach out and strike someone, hit someone, walk into a restaurant with a machete or a bayonet. Those are things that aren't good for your residents.
No, they're not good for residents.
Yeah, and on top of that, they're a real problem for our businesses. Our retail businesses are confronted with people sleeping in front of their doorways, are confronted with people walking in the store. Retail theft is
and a lot of your
rampant as
restaurants
well.
are outdoor restaurants where you can just start.
Yeah. So a lot of our restaurants and stores, especially in the downtown area, are now hiring private security guards. Well, if you're hiring a private security guard to guard your taco business, $100,000 a year for security is a hell of a lot of tacos you have to sell.
Sure. How do you stop that from being all-consuming?
I don't think we have. It is all-consuming right now in Santa Monica. Our residents feel fear. They're concerned. They're upset. But federal and state laws don't let us. We can't remove someone who's laying on a public sidewalk. You can stop them from hoisting a tent and using a tent, but if they just want to lay down on a public street, there's no law that says that they have to move along. Well, that's a problem because you can offer them services, you can offer them supportive housing, you can offer them drug counseling, you can offer them all the things that they should want.
But if they say no, as they invariably do,
and then there's nothing you can do. And that therein lies the rub. Your residents want parks that are clean and safe.
Sure.
Your residents want to be able to walk to and from our shopping areas safely.
Or from their car to the restaurant and back.
Yeah. And they're worried. So that's caused a huge emergency crisis in the city. But it's one we can't solve by ourselves. And it's influenced by a lot of factors. Not only the rise in homelessness, but 96% of the homeless population in Santa Monica are not from LA County. They have traveled from Missouri, from everywhere to come to LA.
Well, sure. I mean, it's the reason they came for the same reason everybody else comes to Southern California.
I was assaulted last July a year ago now, on the 3rd Street Promenade.
Didn't he know you were there?
Huh?
Didn't he know you were there?
I told him. I said he needed to back off because things would not end well for him. Now, it's very silly. He tried to steal the hat I was wearing, just a tennis bucket hat.
Okay.
And things escalated. He ended up trying to physically
We should point out that someone stole your hair.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Yes.
I wasn't able to catch that person.
Sorry.
But so this was
this guy who took my hat that we got.
This was a gentleman who, 20-year-old, came here from Missouri 2 months before, supposedly paid someone in city government in Missouri, paid his bus fare to LA to get rid of him.
Oh, wow.
He was existing on our beach. He had been arrested for a felony on June 30th. Arrested for another felony on July 6th. With me, he hit the trifecta because I'm now a senior citizen, I'm a public official, and he stole by force. That was 3 felonies. Keep counting. July 30th, he hit a police officer. August 20th, he
so clearly this guy has mental issues.
Yeah, August 20th, he participated in an armed robbery. The DA in LA held him after the 7th felony. Now, I was raised that if you got a felony, your life was over.
Yeah.
You were in the slammer, as they would say, and you were done. He got 7 felonies before the DA finally decided to hold him. We have a lot of that circulating in Santa Monica. Many times when we have to make contact with a homeless individual because they've just done something
as a result
flagrant.
of this, I mean, I understand the issue, but as a result of this, is the city able to, and have you been forward in social service options and other stuff like that are support services, not just jail?
Yeah.
That's good government. It's not just throwing them in jail.
No. Well, throwing him in jail doesn't do any good because, as you mentioned, the gentleman who tried to assault me, he had mental health issues.
Right.
He needed to be in a facility to figure out how to get him off drugs and have a chance to rejoin society as a productive member. So we have an Inside Pathway Home program where we've taken over a motel in Santa Monica. For the most part, these are people who were local, who had fallen on very hard times, and they are now in a motel with the absolute ironclad promise that they will get permanent housing somewhere in LA County within 3 months. We put 40 people in there.
Oh, okay.
We have
That's a good start.
It's a great start.
You talked a little bit about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Secondly, we have a judge now who have had so many drug, alcohol, miscellaneous offenses that even the judge is going to throw you in jail. You go before that judge, if you guarantee that you'll go into rehab, and they'll give you the place to go,
right? How
to get through rehab. Every 30 days, you will report back to the court along with the drug treatment center. And if you completely get off drugs, get clean, they will dismiss the charges. That's number 2. And that started in February as well. Number 3, we now have a LA County psychiatric mobile van that has a psychiatrist, social workers. If the police or fire call during the daytime, they will go out and try and assess that person, possibly remand them into custody for a mental health hold or whatever. And they should be out, if someone's suicidal, they should be out there talking that person down from that and trying to get them help. Those are 3 new initiatives in 2024.
And one thing we talked about a little bit before we turned the mics on, I know that in other parts of California they're erecting mini houses, and it looked like you had looked at that and other issues, like other.
We looked at
housing
pallet houses. Solutions. We look at congregate shelters out of shipping containers. We have a very active program where, for instance, under construction right now, we have 24 potential 18-year-olds who have just got out of foster homes.
Right.
And this is going to be a prefabbed housing project where it's made off premises, hoisted into place, and those people will then be able to get housing to get taken care of so they can transition, because one of the worst things that can happen to you is you're a foster child, you turn 18, no more money.
Right.
So the people throw you out in the street.
Doesn't LA County have a program where they have some kind of income for foster kids?
They do, but it's insufficient. So, and that's
not enough.
look, the problem
especially
is,
in Santa Monica.
Yeah, the problem is we have so many issues in Santa Monica, and LA has those issues too,
Sure.
and people go back and forth. It's not a hard, fast border. It's
No,
a
it's
sign
not.
that says, welcome to Santa Monica.
You're like, oh, the pier must be up a couple blocks. I know another issue in Los Angeles is water. What is the issue that you're facing, and what are you doing? How is your good government project helping the water problem?
Well, first, Santa Monica is only a city.
Yep.
Because the predecessors to me drilled and found our own water in our own aquifer.
Okay.
So a lot of our water comes from our own sources and doesn't take from the Colorado River or Northern California. That's a great thing.
Yep.
But that's not enough because we're in a land of perpetual drought. So we just finished, and it's $100 million, expensive, but a SWIP project, stormwater infiltration plant, right in downtown Santa Monica. It's below ground, you don't know it's there, but it takes stormwater that comes in from the Santa Monica Freeway, from all of Santa Monica. It can handle up to 1 million gallons a day and turn that 1 million gallons into gray water, which can then be either pumped back into the aquifer to be purified, or we can use it for irrigation.
Wow. And that's a new project you've started recently.
It's just won numerous awards. It just opened.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get to the heart of your philosophy of government.
Sure.
These are difficult times, and if you believe in justice, progress, and democracy, the news you read and listen to can be pretty depressing. And that's why there's a new podcast called Good News for Lefties and America. Every day it features positive news stories for progressive listeners. Because no matter how disturbing the headlines might be, there's always hope we can build on for a better tomorrow. Good News for Lefties and America. Listen on this platform at goodnewsforlefties.com or wherever podcasts are heard.
All right. Are you ready? This is the Good Government Show questionnaire. We're going to find out what you really think about government.
Okay.
All right. You are a city council person, and now you're mayor. Define good government.
Honest interaction, transparency, always trying to help your neighbors. Your neighbors, in this case, are the residents of the entire city. That's first and foremost. That's why I ran for council. It was to help my neighbors. Do the best you can. Be pragmatic in government. In Santa Monica, everyone's progressive.
Yes.
but there's also a common sense element to that. So I attempt to make sure that my decisions are rooted in common sense. They're pragmatic. As much as I can, they're the least expensive way to get the job done, because my job is to protect the taxpayers' money.
Okay.
My job is not to put the taxpayers through the ringer constantly.
A bit of an interesting turn, the way that things run in Santa Monica. So as I understand, what you told me is you were on the city council and then you're selected to be mayor on a rotating basis. Can you explain a little bit about how that works in your city?
Well, we don't have a elected mayor, although I believe we should have one. So the city.
Anybody in mind who would be a good candidate?
There you go. I do have a candidate.
You do have a candidate in mind. Okay.
But city council was selecting mayors on a 2-year basis. And it was sort of a fight in the back room where whoever won, everyone else threw a gavel at them overhand.
Okay.
And now,
overhand.
Yes, definitely overhand. So it was a very unpleasant experience. We switched last year to a system which our neighboring cities, Culver City, Beverly Hills, have, where it would go by the amount of votes you got in the last election, your seniority on the council. There were 3 or 4.
There's criteria for
criteria that would put it through. So it was no longer just a popularity contest. It was much more involved in here's a rotation. I was the top vote getter in the 2020 election. So my name actually came up a year before.
Okay.
There was some shenanigans.
We'll say.
And I didn't get to, I was supposed to be mayor for a 2-year term. Ended up now with a 1-year term. But we hope the shenanigans are over permanently.
Okay.
But I would like to, in 2026, if I'm still in the council, I'd like to have an elected
Another
mayor.
term, yeah.
Well, I'd like to have an elected mayor, and I'd like to have that mayor have more power and the city council have more resources. Each city council member in Santa Monica is very strange because we have a $700 million budget, yet nobody on the council gets their own office.
Oh.
And we have no staff that work directly for us.
Are you getting any support for your elected mayor position?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Do you think it'll happen?
Yeah, it has to. Because look, we operate, including our enterprise funds, about $700 and some odd million a year budget. You can't do that with a city council that's only expected to do 2 meetings a month. I mean, I put in a full-time job being mayor.
I'm sure.
And going to events. I think everyone has to have better paid conditions. They need their own office, and they need at least half-time assistants to help them through the duties.
And that'll be better government?
We're a big city. I think it would be.
Okay.
I believe absolutely it would be a better government, and with higher paid, more people could run who didn't have a large income. Otherwise, most of what you get people who are independently wealthy, right? Because they don't need the money.
Yeah.
Well, that's all well and good, but you have residents who they're kept out of being able to run or be an effective leader if they did get elected.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you judge your success? You're the mayor. Well, how do you know if you're doing a good job?
You don't get booed walking down the street? No.
Do you get booed walking down the street?
No, I never have.
Never say never.
It'll probably happen now when I go back.
Exactly.
No, I believe firmly that you succeed if you make decisions that are based upon the residents of a neighborhood's needs. I believe you succeed if at the end of the day, not everyone has to be happy, but you've done your best to weigh all options and do the best you can. And if your residents believe you're honestly looking out for their interests, that you care, that you're not just in an ivory tower somewhere,
right?
That you're really out there. And in my case, I was elected on the basis of problems in homelessness, problems with public safety, and hyper overdevelopment. The state now has usurped my ability to stand up for residents on overdevelopment, but I think residents know I absolutely care about this place. I was born in Santa Monica. I'll die in Santa Monica, and hopefully not too soon. But I believe,
or the freeway in Ventura. I mean,
there you go. No, I believe that it is imperative that residents know you care.
Okay.
That's all you can really do. You respond to individual residents, you respond to groups, and you make sure.
Do you get feedback in the street?
I believe that's an important thing. When I'm out in the street, I'm wearing my mayor's shirt. I'm walking through the city, inviting people to come talk to me. That's how I get my feedback, is by actively talking. I do
daily walk.
I do daily walks. I do town halls. I'm on social media. I answer questions on Facebook, on Nextdoor, on Instagram. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I believe the opportunity to talk to residents is an important part of the job of any elected leader, because you can get caught in an echo chamber. You can get caught just with people who are going to agree with you.
Sure.
And that's all well and good, but that's not the totality of the populace.
If people think they aren't getting good government, if they don't like what they see, what should they do?
They can vote against you. But
okay.
but before that,
not now, not you.
No, but before that,
what
I'm very concerned with, I think they need to make sure that they write. If a resident writes me, I'm happy to call them back. I have coffee or lunch or breakfast with residents 3-4 times a week. I had a resident who I was a week and a half later returning his call. but I had let him know I would call him.
Yeah.
We talked for half an hour about homelessness, about the cleanliness of our parks yesterday morning. I think those things are so valuable because I'm willing to respond. I'm willing to communicate with people, and that goes a long way. And there are times I can still disagree with you. I have a park playground that's being renovated soon, and the residents there have always had tons of sand in their playground.
Yep.
Well, now the new criteria are you're not supposed to have sand. So they're bitter and upset. And so last Saturday morning, I went and walked the playground with them and talked to them about the dangers of sand. Razor blades.
Did you turn them away? Did you turn them around a little bit?
I think I convinced them that if we did sand, it may have to be something that's raised, something that's narrow where kids can still play, but not just go sit in the sand. Because as I pointed out, there was a lady feeding her kid melons in the middle of the sand. And I said, if that melon drops, I can guarantee the parent is just going to, throw more sand over it. And we know that homeless people will urinate in the sand. Well, that's not or worse, and that's not a sanitary place for a 2-year-old to be. So I think I've told them I'll look at the park design because I used to be on the Recreation and Parks Commission for 14 years.
Okay.
And I'll come back and see if adjustments can be made. But honestly, sand right now is a liability.
All right. So you've had a long history in serving in Santa Monica. I think you said you're on the Arts Commission, you're on the Parks Commission, City Council, now Mayor. What would you like people to know about government as an insider?
It's a lot more difficult to govern because you're not king. Right? There's 7 of you.
Would you like to be king, Mr. Mayor?
No. But there's not.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it. But there are 7 people.
Yes.
You've got to win over 3 other people if you want anything done.
Okay.
That's at the minimum. So I think that's very important for them to know, for them to be advocates for their cause, for what they want done. And for me, I've spent 22 years as a city commissioner, a city council person. I'm part of Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, Boys and Girls Clubs, Salvation Army.
You left out Little League.
And actually, I'm going to throw out the first pitch Sunday morning at the Little League playoffs.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
No kidding. And then I'm also
Have you practiced? Have you got to throw down?
Yeah, I've got it down.
Okay, all right.
But I'm also even president of my high school, Santa Monica High School Alumni Association. I am so completely embedded in the community.
What do you do in your off hours, on your downtime?
We have no downtime now, but go to movies. I have a day job.
Oh, what is your day job?
I own Studio Talent Group for 29 years. I represent actors and actresses.
You own Studio, I'm sorry, what is it called?
Studio Talent Group in Santa Monica.
What does that do?
We represent actors for film, television, theater, and commercials.
Okay.
So
you're an agent.
Yeah. I have a real job too.
All right, I'll tell you about my script later.
There we go. But at any rate, look, at the part of good government is to be responsive. And for residents, even if you end up disagreeing and voting against what they wanted, they need to know that you had integrity while doing it.
Okay.
That you really cared about their issue.
2-part question. What's the best part of your job?
Meeting people in the streets, talking to residents. The standard stuff, giving proclamations, recognizing businesses that have been in our city for a long time. In my State of the City at the beginning of the year, I talked about expanding the arts in Santa Monica. We believed in 2018 we had 41% of our population worked in the arts. So I want public art and dance and film and theater and literary. I want all those things to be present in the city. Secondly, I wanted more trees. We've had a lot of development. We're losing trees. Thirdly,
what kind of trees?
All trees. I actually...
There's a tree issue in Los Angeles. I just recently discovered.
I'll change that.
Yes.
I'm not in favor of more palm trees because palm trees, A, aren't trees. They're grasses. And B, they provide no real shade.
So I just learned about this. Since I have you on, we'll just explain this briefly. Palm trees are not native to Southern California.
Correct.
They were brought there, and now they're dying, as I understand it. And there's a great controversy about whether they should replace them or just get rid of them.
Well, some palm trees are dying because they get STDs. And because they get STDs, right?
Yes.
Because
and rats live in them.
Well, forget the rats for a minute, but there are palm tree sexual transmitted diseases that hit specific species of palm trees that can spread from one to the other to the other. So the solution is when one dies, you plant a different species of palm tree.
Okay.
And then you eliminate that problem. Same as right now in Santa Monica, we have ficus trees that are passing away because of a beetle. So there's always something, but I would not... Look, I know palm trees especially are iconic in Santa Monica.
Sure.
There are certain places, yes, you need palm
up and
trees.
Down the boardwalk.
And Palisades Park.
Yeah.
But there are other places that I'd rather put in trees that will enhance our tree canopy.
Right.
And not diminish it. So Monday morning, my first thing I did Monday morning was I planted a tree.
Good.
And it was in Holbrook Park. And I bought the tree. The city helped me plant it.
Okay.
But I'm doing a big push to increase our tree canopy, which went from 18% to 12%. And by contrast, New York City is 28%.
Really?
So we need more trees. We need more shade
capability. Yeah, I guess once you get out of Manhattan, there's more trees, right?
Yeah. So that's part of that.
Well, that sounds like good government. More trees.
Well, look at more trees, more green space.
Right.
We have the ability. We're closing Santa Monica Airport on December 31st, 2028. The voters in 2014 voted that it would become a park.
Wow.
Now,
that's going to be a big park.
It would be 200 and some odd acres, 190 acres of useful parkland. That would be tremendous. I don't know how we would pay for it yet, but I think we could. I drove through there. I was on a fire truck a couple of weeks ago because
you're the mayor, you get to ride on fire trucks.
Well, but I also go on ride-alongs I've been on every fire engine truck in the city. I've been out with the police every few months. I do a ride-along. I've been out with trash collectors. I've been out with our bulky item pickup. That was crazy.
I bet.
So I've done a lot of those things because I also wanted to make sure city staff knew I was on their side.
Okay.
And so we were swinging around the boundary of the airport. There's also this beautiful field of flowers. Turns out that fire station, when they have to empty their hoses, they empty them there, so it's well watered.
Okay.
We keep driving a little ways, and there's a coyote in the middle of the road there. I thought it was wonderful. I said, we already have a park.
There you go. We've already got a park. What's the hardest part of the job?
City council meetings.
Why?
Having to manage expectations and demands of other partisan council members who, on a personal note, I'm not sure each of them is always concerned about the good will of the people. Some of them are concerned more about their political ambitions.
Okay. I'm
never concerned about political ambitions. There's nothing else I ever wanted to be. It's the honor of my lifetime.
Okay. Except the fully elected mayor.
Yeah, but for me right now, if I had a bucket list from being 17 at Santa Monica High School and meeting the mayor at that time and touring the police department, this is a bucket list item for me, and it really, truly is. I've done a lot of great stuff in my lifetime, met a lot of people, done a lot of great stuff in my lifetime. But being mayor of my home city is the biggest honor I could ever have. And I owe that to the residents of the city who believed in me. I can't give up that trust. But the I just deviated from the answer you asked for. And the answer is that city council meetings are the toughest time because of the infighting, because of the backbiting that goes on. I want to believe that each of my fellow council members are only ever concerned about the good of the entire city.
And that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast and why we call it the Good Government Show and why we talk about good government is because there are a lot of people who do work hard in government. What do you do about the people that aren't?
Well, I'm the mayor right now. So my job is to make sure I work as well as I can with everybody on the council.
Okay.
And not become overly partisan.
Is that hard?
It's against my better instinct, but I've actually done a very good job of it this year.
You're very proud of yourself for keeping yourself under control.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you know what it shows? It shows that I'm maturing. And I'm slow to mature. And I used to be very quick to temper.
Okay.
I have managed to eliminate a lot of that so I can work for
the people.
Yeah, and not be in a council meeting. If I lose my cool, imagine what happens to the rest of the council.
True.
So I have to set the barometer.
Kudos to your maturity.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're a newsmaker, certainly in Santa Monica. Where do you get your news?
LA Times.
Okay.
Local newspapers, Santa Monica Daily Press, Santa Monica Mirror, Eyewitness News, KTLA. I'm in Los Angeles.
Sure.
Everyone's at KTLA.
Yep.
Local, and now the internet. I'm absorbing newsletters every morning with news on them. I'm looking at things constantly. I read Vanity Fair on the way here from LA last night on the plane.
All right.
So I'm very concerned always about foreign affairs, national affairs. I was a history major at UCLA.
All right.
So for me, I'm a little wonky in that way that I want to read the news. I get depressed by the first 10 minutes of local newscasts now because they're all about who got murdered, whose store got broken into, all the things that I see on my streets in real life that I'm trying to stop.
Okay.
And I think I can get overwhelmed because you can end up really depressed. You could get depressed by
listen to our show. You'll feel better.
There you go.
You said that at 17, as a high school student at Santa Monica High, you met the mayor of Santa Monica. Is he your political hero? And who are your political heroes?
He was not my political hero.
Okay.
I didn't know enough about him.
Sure.
But I was mentored by a former Santa Monica mayor.
All right.
He was on the city council for 24 years, school board for 8 years. I loved the fact that he was so congenial, that he also tried to do what was right, but was willing to talk to everybody. My political heroes nationally, I love Joe Biden, and I know he's getting a lot of heat, but I was at the White House three times this year, and have got to sit right in front of him while he did a press conference. I was in the White House with him. Heroes before that, strangely enough, I'm a lifelong Democrat.
Okay.
But I will tell you, Ronald Reagan, who I got to know a little bit, was a hero because of his way of communicating.
The great communicator.
People.
Sure.
Yeah, he really was.
Uh-huh.
When I was younger, Lyndon Johnson, presidents.
You're going back?
Oh, yeah, going back. Not Nixon. And
although a Southern California native.
Yeah, and not Nixon, not George W. Bush.
All right.
There's Churchill. You can go back to,
okay.
People who, Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I went to his ranch in North Dakota a couple of years ago.
All right. I go to his house at Oyster Bay sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, there are a lot of people I loved who I thought practiced good democracy. They were able to motivate people. They were able to inspire people.
Right.
Because a lot of what my job is to inspire people to do more than they thought they could do. My first career, I was a teacher and a coach.
What did you coach?
Baseball and football.
So you got your baseball throw down for Little League. Okay, got it.
And my job really was to make my players believe in much more than they thought they could.
Sure.
I wanted them to rise to better heights.
All right.
I want the residents of my city to rise to better heights. And so for me, inspiration, John Wooden.
Okay.
I was lucky enough. No, I was at UCLA.
Yes.
He was still coaching.
John Wooden, UCLA, legendary UCLA basketball coach.
And I met him. I got to meet him a few times.
All right.
He was amazingly intelligent, amazingly well-read, not just about sports, but about life, about English, about poetry.
I guess you didn't play for UCLA basketball.
I didn't.
Okay.
Baseball.
You played UCLA baseball?
But I felt that his writings, you can't have a good day unless you did something for someone who could never repay you. All the different quotes, the different things he said, he has always inspired me. Always inspired me to want to do better, to want to be excellent, to want to be honest, and forthright. I'm not someone who beats around the bush, but
doesn't seem so.
No, but to me, those things were really important. So that's a long-winded answer.
That's okay. Growing up, did you want to be in politics? Did you want to be president of the United States? Were you president of your senior class?
I was in student government.
Okay.
Did I want to be president? I think when you're like 5 or 8 years old or 10 years old.
You want to be a policeman or a president, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the standard stuff.
Did you always aspire to a career in politics and government?
No. By the time I was 12, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
I wanted to teach and I wanted to coach.
All right.
And I got to that in 8th grade. And then after that, that was my goal.
Yeah.
But I've always been active. I was, in my day job, I was active as president of the Talent Managers Association in the United States.
Okay.
Last year, I got voted into I don't know how, but I got voted into the Hall of Fame for agents and managers. There's a National Hall of Fame.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it either. But so there's a lot of things that I thought were really important, and I was always avidly interested in politics. But I have to add a caveat. I don't think I'm a politician now. A politician to me sort of is kind of a dirty word. It sounds like there's backroom things and all that.
Okay.
I don't ever want to think of myself that way. I really want to think of myself as trying to respond to my neighbors, and that I have a louder voice, so I'm not afraid to ask and demand things that we need and they need.
Okay. Now, I have been to Santa Monica, I'll say several times. One of my really good friends lived in Los Angeles for 25 plus years, so I've been going out regularly. I've been to the King's Head many times, a good British pub right off the beach.
Sure.
If I'm coming out and you're taking me out to dinner, where are we going? What are we having? What's the best local cuisine in Santa Monica these days?
Well, California's native cuisine is Mexican.
Of course.
So I'd probably take you to Gilbert's El Indio, because it's down-home Mexican by a family that has 9 members of their family who graduated from Santa Monica High School.
Yeah.
They're hyper-local, and they just had their 50-year celebration.
And what did you have the last time you were there?
Enchilada, chili relleno, rice, and beans.
Okay.
Standard Mexican.
Good Mexican.
If we were going for breakfast, there's a place down the street named Ray's, which is a 1950s diner.
Really?
So I go to, the High Line too.
Okay.
But if I was really showing people where someone lives and eats, I had a city council member from our friendship city, Brighton, England. Our peers are friends.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
And he was in town 3.5 weeks ago.
That makes sense. Beach town, right?
And he came to Santa Monica. And it was the night of Gilbert's El Indio's 50th anniversary. I said, if you want to see how Santa Monicans live, let's go.
Okay.
And 550 people showed up to this restaurant to help them celebrate. And he was so impressed.
All right.
Because I didn't take him to, the Highline place. I took him to
the celebrity room.
I took him to where neighbors go, where people go to meet each other, and they're really, as they would say, familiar.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, you can't go wrong with good Mexican food in Los Angeles. So we are the Good Government Show. We always like to bring it back to good government. Tell me about a good government project that you've worked on that you're excited about.
I'll go back a little bit. When I was chair of the Recreation and Parks Commission, we opened or remodeled 7 parks in the city.
7.
That was the largest expansion of our park system in our city's history. Today, I'm working on projects all over the city. We're going to create a dog park at one of our parks that I think residents will
I'll tell
love.
my daughter. She'll bring her dog next time.
Perfect.
All right.
I think that's important. I think reopening theaters that closed during COVID. I want our theaters open. We're right now, we have a legendary Civic Auditorium that has been closed for 15 years. Back in the 60s, it hosted Martin Luther King and Jimi Hendrix and the Who and the Stones.
Yeah, no, it was a big place.
And
it's been closed,
and the Academy Awards for 7 years. It's been closed. We have a group that is vying to reopen it, refurbish it, get it going. I'm totally behind that.
So you'll be at the Oscar party soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that sounds great, and good luck with that. Mayor Phil Brock, Mayor of Santa Monica, California, it is a pleasure meeting you and having you on the show. Thank you very much.
There you go.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. Here's something I read about former Santa Monica Mayor Phil Brock. If the city elected a mascot, it would be him. As you heard, he's a third-generation Santa Monica resident. His enthusiasm for his hometown shows through both during his term as mayor, but also as city councilman before that. And I have no doubt Phil Brock will continue to be a booster for Santa Monica and continue to push to improve the city he walks through every day. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. Check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.